Good afternoon. Sinomsa here at Nkosi Talk Shows. Find your own voice, lead from within. With me today is Carol Ann Cooper. And Carol Ann, how are you?
I'm good today. I'm good. A lot chirpier and a lot more settled, and yeah, feel like I'm more in flow today.
Awesome, awesome. You chose this topic, stop comparing yourself to others. Please explain to our audience about the topic.
Yeah, compare. I love there's a quote that I know someone often says, a guy called Ben Shorter, and he says, compare to despair. And it's so true. And just recently, it nearly stopped me from doing the best that I could do within my writing retreat. It was holding me back because I was comparing myself to other workshops and retreats I've been on and how the leaders ran that. And also listening to somebody else who runs writing retreats.
No, you didn't.
I didn't what?
You didn't compare yourself to other people.
I did.
Oh,
I did, Nomsa. And I was also, there was someone else on the retreat who she, along with someone else, runs writing retreats. So she was sort of saying how they were run, and just because that's her experience. But I was allowing that comparison to make me feel I was wrong in some way. And I wasn't doing it right. And so this topic, stop comparing yourself to others, it sings to me, because what I ended up doing was actually going, right, I'm not going to do my best, do the best performance I can on this retreat if I don't sort this out. So I did a process on myself and literally stood in, this is my retreat. I run it my way. And from then on, it was like, boom, the energy came back. I was in charge and I was like, and it had a great time. And the resistance that I felt, I was feeling, just melted away from the others. It was just like, yeah. So stop comparing yourself to others, because it actually is quite toxic, and it doesn't help you if you allow it to pull you down. But there are ways it can help you, which we can explore when we talk about it. So what do you like about this topic? What do you think?
Imposter syndrome. I cannot believe that Carol Ann comes here to Nkosi Talk Shows 2 days a week, and you watch Nkosi Talk Shows 5 days a week, and you're still comparing yourself. It's easy to compare yourself with someone else. Very, very easy. It can be done really, really easy, because we are all human. And I'm sure there are some people who are watching, sometimes they feel that they have nothing to offer, and they start comparing themselves to other people. Or there are some people who go and spend loads of money to look expensive because they want to look important. And sometimes some people, they look like fake. And I used to do that. I used to compare my life, but that was 12 years ago, not today. 12 years ago, I used to compare my life with somebody else. I will go on social media and see a celebrity wearing nice clothes. And, when somebody is wearing something, they go on social media, they're putting a story. There's a story behind this. Mostly the celebrities, they think about their designs. Even people who are non-celebrities, they think about the designs. Why do they want to wear like this? The occasion, what is the occasion? And then they speak to the fashion designers, and they're like, please, can you design this for me? The plan, there's so much plan that goes into it. And then here's me, I'm seeing the picture, don't know the story behind it. And I'm like, I love it. I'm going to buy it. And I'm just going to look like whoever that is, Beyonce. I'm going to look like Beyonce. I love it. She looks sexy. She looks so beautiful. But guess what? She put some thoughts in it. She had a reason to buy whatever she's wearing. And I didn't know. I would just go and buy it. But now I am aware that I don't have to go and spend so much money to look more expensive. I was created to be the person that I am today because God loves me. Even God himself, he was rejected by so many people. Even him, he refused to perform miracles for people so that people can see. He said, I'm not going to do it. I will perform miracles for the right reasons. He refused. So why should I compare my life? I did it. And I spent time asking for forgiveness. Is there someone out there who feel that they have to prove to someone, to other people who they are? Do you feel like you have to prove a point? Do you feel that you have to go and buy expensive cars, like go and buy Lamborghini, BMW, and go and buy Aston Martin? You'll get beautiful girls. Go and buy a big house if you're single. Before you meet someone, go and buy a big house so a woman can like you. Or when you go out, buy expensive wine for 500 pounds so Nomsa can like you. No, thank you. If I go out with a man, you know, as a matchmaker, when we meet somebody who is a billionaire or who is a millionaire, that's where we come in. And when we go out with them, we have to go on a mini date with men. So when we go out on a mini date with that person, they think we are just there to actually do the work, but we are actually observing how they behave. Because the way you behave looking after me, that's how you're going to look after the girl that I'm going to match you. So if a man requests a 1,000 pound wine to drink on a first date with me, like we're there on a mini date, I'm like, this is not on. You can't do that because it puts women off. Women who are blinded, yes, they'll accept you, but when you show off, it does put a woman who knows what they want, it puts them off. You don't have to show off. If you like expensive, obviously you're going to expensive restaurant, you're gonna eat expensive. Yes, it's fine. But going over the top, that's how we advise men, don't do it. Because it puts women off. Let a woman likes you for you. And even women who are wealthy, let a man likes you for you, not for money. To say I'm gonna date her because she's loaded, he's loaded, that's no longer love anymore. So that's how we teach our clients to be themselves and not to try to buy. Money can't buy love, but it's an energy that can give you the things that you desire in life. It can give you pleasure. But when it comes to relationship, divorce is very, very costly. So that's what a matchmaker does. You direct your clients to the right place. And Carol Ann, I like to hear more this thing of you comparing yourself with someone else's event. But I think I've never compared my life with someone else's event. I tell you why I've never compared my life with someone else's event is I'm surrounded by these beautiful people around me. And I always trust you guys that whatever you present at Nkosi Talk Shows, I never compare Nkosi Talk Shows with anybody else, but I learn from people, but I never compare with anything, because if I do, that is taking my glory, and that is taking you guys your glory, because you feel under pressure to actually compete with someone else. So I always let Ngozi Talk Show develop on its own. And sometimes we don't have a website with Ngozi Talk Shows. We've not had a website for a very, very long time. And we are building a website. And I was talking to the guy that is building a website and is telling me to go in and choose the template. And I was like, he says, go and choose the template. I was like, I need your help because I haven't got a clue what I'm doing here. Honestly, he replies, is laughing. He says, I like it when you say you don't have a clue. I'm like, I haven't got a clue because I don't want to choose someone else's design similar to somebody. I just want to be me, even if it's not right. I just want to choose. So I went in and I'm playing with the design and I was like, you know what? I have no clue what I'm doing. So then I just left it there and I was like, I need your help. So it is very, very important not to compare your life with anyone.
Absolutely. And actually that you have no clue what you're doing. Is that true?
Oh, no. Yeah. When it comes,
it's like when you pick something up to do it and you say, I don't have a clue what I'm doing. That thought stops you from actually progressing. And that's what stopped me yesterday with one of the tasks that I was attempting to do. And I was looking at somebody else's, what they'd done. And I'm thinking, I can't do this. I was trying to get my, the speaker.
And he was trying to get me to do technical stuff. I'm not technical for designing.
There's some things that you can do and some things you can't.
Yeah.
And it's actually rephrasing what you're saying. Rather than I can't do this, it's like, okay, I don't have the skills at the moment to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I can't do it.
Don't have the skills.
I don't have the skills and the training to do it right now.
Okay.
You could do it if you had the skills, the time and the training.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that shift in language. I'm choosing for somebody else to do it for me.
Yeah, because I don't have
this
the
much
skills.
more empowering
than
saying I can't do this. Yeah, it's just a shift in language. It's just hearing and recognizing what we're saying. It's just that's all I'm talking about.
Okay,
and it is about empowering ourselves. It's about listening to how we talk to ourselves, and there is that comparison. I can't do this. Somebody else can do it, so they must be better at it than me. Doesn't mean they're better at it than you. It means they've put time and training to develop the skills. You haven't yet.
Yeah.
And it's something you may not need to do. And that's okay, because you can pay somebody who has put that time and training in. And it's just acknowledging that. It then stops making you wrong it's just a way of speaking. But I was looking at the speaker thing that you want us to do, and looking at Amanda's and Rachel's and Grant's, and then I got the template over, but it was blank in Canva, and I'm trying to find it and work with it, and then I find a template that I could work with, but somehow it just went completely wrong, because I realized that other people had access to it. So I ended up going, I can't do this. I hate all this. And I was looking at the other ones thinking, oh God, they're so much better at this than me. They're cleverer, they're more creative. And then I let it go. And sorry, there's something wants to be said. Okay. But I asked for some help on this, and someone made a suggestion, and I went, okay, I'll just leave it for now. I went back to it later, looked at it, was able to take action on the advice that I was given, made a copy of the one that I'd got, and just got rid of the other one, because I now realized that I needed to make a copy so it was then mine. Oh gosh, I don't know what's going on near Nomsa,
You need water.
but something is caught in my throat. Wow, I haven't felt that for the longest while. It was really caught, as if like attempting to strangle my voice to say, stop talking. Well, no, I'm not going to stop talking. I have something to say. And then once I'd got my copy of that template, I was then able to adjust it and see how the others had used the same template, because I realized that was the template that should have been there, that I couldn't, that wasn't there before. And then it was like, so they've done that. Right, that's okay. And all of a sudden I was then able to move forward, and I've almost done it. I've almost completed it, but I'm happy with what I'm now creating for myself. So sometimes that comparison at looking at what someone else has done is useful so that you can see what has been done, rather than making yourself wrong, putting yourself down, going, oh, I'm useless, I can't do that. I'm not as creative as that. I'm not as clever as that. It's an idea. It just gives you ideas of what is possible. And once I'd seen how, that they'd used the same template, just rearranged it, put different things in. There's some things I need to look up just to change what I'm doing a bit, but it's okay. I feel I can do that now, but I was in a completely different frame of mind.
So have you done it?
I've almost done it. It's not quite complete. I've got other things I need to get done today, so I'll get it done over the weekend and get to you. It'll be with you by Monday, because I've got other things I need to get done today.
Okay, you can. I like Rachel's one. It has a social media. When you click on it, you can actually go through social media direct. So, and it takes her 2 minutes. I send it to her to actually put the social media. It took her 2 minutes. So maybe send your one to her.
Okay.
Because the social media is very, very important. Some others don't know how to actually link to social media. So I think social media is very, very important to make sure that it's linked.
Yeah. So I can do that, and I will. Thank you for that.
Yeah, just send it to her.
Once I've finished what the other bits I'm tweaking on it,
yeah,
I'll send it to her. That'd be brilliant. Yeah, cool.
And then she can do social media. Yeah. I think it's the fears. You have to work through your fears. What you're saying, Carol Ann, is work through your fears and look in the mirror, and what you see, embrace what you see in front of that mirror. We intend not to embrace ourselves, so we intend to think that other people are better than us. And for me, I know when I'm doing something, I know there are things that I can do, but there are things that I can pass it to someone else, outsource with other people to do them for me. But I used to compare my life with someone else, and it leaves you frustrated. It leaves you with all these thoughts that you start living a life that is not unique. And it is important to understand that as a human being, you are unique. And it is important to actually know that you are enough. If you believe that you are enough, you are not enough by the person that created you. Because if you actually read the Bible and the scriptures, God says, come as you are with your mistakes. Come as you are, unapologetic. I will love you for who you are. But then we start judging ourselves, and you meet someone, within a second, everything, like let's say everything you've worked for years, the confidence, the business, and everything can be changed within 1 second just by comparing your life with someone. Your feelings can be changed within a second just by thinking someone else has a better life than you. But that is a torture.
Yeah. And it's literally in a second. It can, and so you have a choice. So in a second, you can actually flick the switch the other way. And it's like what you're saying there, Joyce Meyer, with her quote says, "Stop comparing yourself to other people. You are an original. We are all different, and it's okay." So it's about embracing who you are, how you work, but it's knowing yourself. That's the key. It's knowing who you are, how you work, and aware of your triggers. Now, I read somewhere today, it says, be aware of your triggers and avoid them. Well, I don't fully go along with that. Because yes,
how do you avoid something? How do you avoid something? In order to deal with it, you got to face it.
Exactly. You know, if you keep avoiding it, then that is not solving the problem. It's not going to help you. It's the being aware of the trigger in the first place. And so that when it triggers you, you know that, oh my gosh, I've been triggered, and you can deal with it, rather than a trigger triggering you and you're completely enveloped with it and you're not actually aware that you've been triggered or what it was that triggered you. Certainly become aware of what it is that triggers you, why it triggers you, how it triggers you, and then what your behavior becomes, so that you can then recognize it immediately and do something about it. You can then go, oh, that's what's happened. No, not going there. Or you can work with it for a while. Just be with it, observe it, and notice what is actually happening here. And then move out of that and shift and stop the comparison and actually choose to move out and be empowered by what has just triggered you, rather than disempowered. And you have the choice. But that's what I always say about, be aware of your triggers. Don't avoid them. As you say, face them head on. It's about facing your fears. And as Brandon Bayes talks about, stepping into the mouth of the tiger. You know, because once you've stepped into the mouth of the tiger, when you face them and you've actually faced them full on, all of a sudden it's like it dissipates. And it's like, oh, really? What was I afraid of? What was all that about? And what was I actually comparing myself with? And you then start to see the truth. That actually you are unique. You have your way of doing it, which is what I ended up realizing with my retreat. I have my way of running it. I had my own outcome, an intention for that retreat, which is completely different to everybody else's intention for their retreats. But what it has helped me to do is just listen and think about, there is maybe something, an element that I could weave in to my retreat that would improve it, that would add value in another way. And so I'm just thinking that about that. And I'm actually thinking about extending the retreat to 7 days from the 5 days. But it also, it works with what I experienced through the week as well. And that realization that I think it needs that bit more breather, a bit more time, because there was a lot that I did fit into that week. So yeah, it's great to be able to have that comparison, that feedback, but notice when it triggers you and puts you down, and when you can then rise above it and improve things, you know, because of it. And we should be constant, as they should. If you're not living, if you're not growing, then you're dying. And you need to keep growing. It's living and growing, because otherwise you're just shriveling and dying. And you have that choice. So constantly growing is looking at, well, how can I improve what I'm doing? What other things could I offer? what was going on just then. So there's the comparisons. And actually, that is how we learn, by comparison. But the best way is to compare to yourself. That's the most empowering way. You compare with yourself. So it's like, well, where was I last year with this retreat? You know, I was struggling to get it off the ground. It's still not happening because I had to keep changing the dates. It actually happened. Where I am right now, and what is, it's run. It was successful. I've got people asking for about the next one, and I'm looking to run another one next year. You know, so this is the comparison to make. This is the healthy comparison, the empowering comparison. So stop comparing yourself to others, definitely, and start comparing yourself to yourself, and recognize where you were, where you are, and maybe in relation to where you want to be. So you can then ask yourself, well, what is it I need to now do? Are there skills that I need to learn? Or is there someone that could do this job for me? Because right now, I don't have the skills, and do I actually want to? Nah. And that's what I was hearing with you, Nomsa, about getting someone else to do your website for you. Do you really want to do it? I don't think so. No, you've got other things that would use your skills and that you could employ yourself more gainfully than learning how to do the website when someone can do it for you.
I'm not doing it. It's too much. There's so many things that if I did have the time to learn and sit down and learn step by step, yes. But at the moment, I have things that I need to do. Someone else can do that for me. And Yunisa left a message. He says, get some water, Keroan. He says, the reason I choose to be alone is because females tend to see silver Porsche, black Porsche, Burgundy Porsche, and two different types of bands and their house. And here we go with the I love your sentence. So maybe one should not drive what they want, but society has taught us that a woman has to be a provider and a protector. A woman wants to be taken care of. But a woman in the Bible, a man is a provider and a woman is a provider as well. So a man doesn't have to provide on his own for his family, their team. A woman provides and a man provides. Because even if a woman stays at home to look after the kids, they're still providing, they're still managing their house, they're still managing the kids. And there's so much that goes into, so people don't actually, we don't value, as women, we don't value ourselves as we are providing for our family. People intend to say the person who is the provider is only financially, but it's not. And money cannot make you happy. You make you happy within. Happiness is found within. And when that happiness is found, you will never be disappointed with life, because people will come into your life and they will disappoint you and they'll leave you broken. But if you are somebody who is fulfilled, when somebody comes into your life, you are able to, when you get hurt, you are able to pick yourself up and be able to actually not to compare yourself with other people, and just love that you have within. It will carry you through tough times. So if you don't love yourself, then that becomes a problem. When you compare your life with somebody else, that becomes a problem. And for me, I admire, I celebrate my friends. When I see my friends are successful, or other people that they go to business, they have their businesses, they're successful, I want to know what they do different than what I do. So I want them to teach me, is there anything that they're doing different that could help me to succeed. That's what I want to know, but I will never ever compare my life with somebody else. And I know that there's some people who are watching and they feel frustrated and they're like, why things are not happening for me? Like you watch Nomsa Nkosi talk shows, you want to compare your life with me. It took me 40 days of fast to find myself. There were times where I didn't talk the way I didn't speak the way I'm speaking. I didn't have a voice. There were times where I didn't feel that I was enough. But in order for me to feel that I was enough, I had to go through 5 psychologists. I had to fast for 40 days, asking God to reveal a secret within myself that can help me to become who I want to become. And after those 40 days, I had to maintain my beliefs. It had to change. There are some things that I did. I had to bend clothes. I had to bend things. I had to bend my past. There were things that I didn't love about myself. When I look at the pictures that I took, being fake, I had to bend those pictures because I wanted to live my life without anything, like without comparing, thinking that I'm enough. Can you imagine? And you don't know my story, how I got to where I got to, and you come and compare yourself to Nomsa. That is a torture. Big torture. That is a torture. So there are some things that I had to change, and also I had to be honest within my life. In my life, I had to be honest with things that, in order for me to actually be the person that I wanted to be. There are some things that I had to check out: my lifestyle, people that I hang out with, people that I call friends. So I had to check me out without blaming anyone. I had to be me. And that's why I got to where I am today. And that's why I come here to Nkosi talk shows. I empower people. But and then you come and watch, you are like, I love to do Facebook Live. But you know what? Nomsa is better than me. Nomsa, she is no better than you. Nomsa was able to recognize her weaknesses, her strength. And I was able to say, you know what, God, I'm willing to actually work on myself, and I'm willing to work on these fears that are inside of me that tells me that I'm not enough. I look at somebody and I'll be like, you know, I'm just a girl who's coming from Africa. No one will listen to me. There were so many stories that I told myself. Carol Ann, I'm sure you know the stories. You told us one of the stories comparing your life. I compared my life. I'll be like, no one will listen to me. But when I made that choice that I need to be the person that I've meant to be, there are some things that I had to change in my life. I had to be honest with myself that if I'm going to do this, there's no way that I'm going to go on Facebook and see Carol Ann, she's posting something, and then I feel like, why can't I be that? So I had to be honest. Now, when Carol Ann posts something or somebody else posts something, I've learned to celebrate my friends. I'm like, you go, girl. You go, girl. No, you can do this. That is life. But if you're comparing your life and thinking that Carol Ann is better than you or Nomsa is better than you, that is a torture. It's depressing, and it destroys your thoughts, your emotion. It destroys you inside. So don't compare your life with anyone.
No, it certainly is torture.
It's a torture. It's
torture.
Like
you're torturing yourself. Why would you do that? Why?
Honestly, it's like being put in prison, and it's like you are like there, and you're torturing yourself. You put yourself in that prison, and then you're torturing yourself.
Yeah.
I chose to get out because I was torturing my life.
Mm. And that's the key there, is that you have a choice.
Yeah.
And it's when you wake up and you go, okay, I choose to step out of this prison that I've put myself in. I choose to stop torturing myself. You know, and what you were saying about money doesn't buy happiness is very true. And it reminds me of where I used to live, where I grew up. There's a lady across the road, and I remember seeing her, one of her daughters, a couple of years ago, and her daughters were saying to me, you know, she's a really wealthy woman. She's quite a wealthy woman, but she wasn't happy. She wouldn't go out. Ever since her husband died, she never left the house. She wouldn't do anything. And she just then got to a point where she didn't know anybody either. And she wasn't happy. And actually, she made her daughters' lives a misery because she was so critical, so snipey. You know, she wasn't happy, but she had all this money. I was thinking, wow, she's a very wealthy woman. What she got. And then I looked, you know, and her daughters said to me, so I mean, we grew up together, so it was lovely to see her again, that she was saying how, you know, my mum was always one that was up and about and out. Even when my dad died, I was, you know, for 8 years until she died. I mean, it was 8 years past between my dad dying and my mum dying. She was up and she was out. And I remember the neighbours, you know, really admiring the fact that she would get up and she would get out. And she would go, she had lots of different clubs and activities that she would do. But yeah, right up until the end, she was still very active and would get out of the house. So, and she was rich in a different way, not financially, not money. She was comfortable. She had, you know, enough to live on. She was, you know, and she was always grateful that my dad had left her well provided for. And, but certainly, I wouldn't say she was wealthy, not a wealthy woman in terms of monetary value, but she had wealth in another way. And so, yeah, money can't buy your happiness. And so that comparing yourself is a similar thing. It's like it robs you of precious time by comparing. Oh gosh, that person's got all that money. Why haven't I got it? Why am I not able to earn the same money that they're earning? Well, you don't know what they've been through to earn that money or to get to where they are. You don't know what's gone on for them. And you're only comparing your inside, their outside, the view, as you were saying, Nomsa. You're comparing what you see with that person to what's going on for you. It's not the same. It's not the same at all. You're comparing their outside to your inside. You don't know what's going on inside them. And I remember, it just sparks a memory of when I was head of department, and inside I was like, I'm struggling, I'm floundering, I need help. And yet outside people saw me as coping. They thought I was doing a great job. For me, I wasn't. It was like, no, I'm struggling, I can't deal with this. All they could see was I was coping. I was doing so you just don't know what's going on for somebody. They saw me as coping and doing a great job, but I wasn't. And so they were probably comparing, or, you know, why am I not doing such a great job? I don't know what's going on for them. But, you know, don't compare yourself to other people, because all you see is what you see. You do not know what they've gone through. You don't even know what they are feeling in themselves. So like that lady across the road from my mum, all I could see was she, big house, detached house, she's wealthy, but what's going on inside for her? She's not happy at all. You know, so comparing yourself to someone else actually puts the focus on the wrong person. It puts the focus on them. You can't change what's going on for them. You can only control your own life. You can only control what's going on for you. So it comes back to that comparing your life with how it's been and looking at it that way, doing what you can to get yourself where you want to go, just reviewing it. It's like, okay, so I don't have the money that I want. I'm not having the income that I'm wanting. So what do I need to do to achieve that? What do I need to do differently in order to achieve that? Okay, look at the person that has got all that money coming in, they're doing really well. What did they do to get there? Maybe there's some actions that you could model that may support you to get in there. That's the way to use a comparison, make it work for you. And, comparing it can very often lead to resentment. You start resenting someone. You resent, and also resenting your life, resenting them, resenting yourself, your life. That's torture in itself. It can lead to ill health because then you're probably not eating correctly because you're eating all the wrong foods because you don't feel good about yourself. So again, it's got an impact. It's got a knock-on effect. And it completely deprives us of joy. So if you want joy in your life, stop comparing yourself in a negative, unhealthy way and make it work for you. Bring your life back on track and go, right, I choose to be on track. I choose for my life to work. What do I now need to do? What do I need to do next? And putting up that prayer, listen for the answer. Look out for the answer, because it very often comes in a form that you got no idea that's the answer. Don't expect to know what the answer is going to look like or sound like, because it very often isn't anything like you could ever imagine. And I think I've frozen. Did I freeze just then? So you just don't know, but keep putting up that prayer and be willing to take the action.
Yeah, God answers in so many ways.
Yeah.
And it's up to, that's why it's very, very important to be alert. And to actually value yourself and know your self-worth. Because when you go around and comparing your life, and some people they do things for the right reasons or for the wrong reasons. And they'll be like, I need to go and buy this. Like, I want to be popular. Like here at Nkosi talk shows, some people, maybe they do it for popularity or different things. But for me, I always look at, I did get some speakers that could say that they're all about gaining big following and stuff. And I was like, they'll go, I don't have to say anything. And they left. And because they want popularity, not to save the community. So you have to be someone that, and also just because someone is popular, there must be something that they're doing. It doesn't mean that when they're popular or famous, there's something good they're doing. Some people, even if you're not famous, you can still, there are some people like on YouTube, I've had meetings with other YouTubers who have millions of followers, and they tell me their story, and I'm like, oh my God, if I didn't know, I would have given up. And they tell you their story, you look at their YouTube, they're like, they have 2 million of following. They tell you their story that they went 2 years with 100 following subscribers or 200 subscribers. I'm like, seriously? Yeah. And so then you start comparing your life with somebody else. It's important that we value ourselves, and it's important for someone who is watching, if you are struggling with your fears, work on your fears. The only way, like Carol Anna said before, life is a choice. We can choose who we want to become. We can choose how we live our lives. It is nice when you write your goals and you create that movie that you have in your head. When you create that movie and you have this vision, that vision has to be your vision, how you want to live your life. And that is unique when you create that vision. And I listened to the pastor one day at Dr. Lukoya. He was preaching, and he was like, there are some people who are single, and when they're looking for love, and he said they're like, like when we say manifestation. So it was like people, they misunderstood the power of manifestation. And when someone says, look at your life as it has happened, a miracle has happened, and it was like, why would a woman go and sleep with a pillow next to her, believing that that pillow is a husband that is happy? And it was like, that's crazy. And it was like a miracle when someone says manifest and believe that God has answered your prayers. It means that you start celebrating and believing that he has been answered, not going to sleep with teddy bears and sleep with pillows. He was like, no, you don't do that. And he was like, just believe that, because like you were saying, Carol Ann, that the dream that we thought, the blessings might come in a different way, in a different form that we don't expect. So that's what the pastor was saying, that the dream will come in a different form, or the miracle come in a different form that we don't expect. So it is important to actually let God be God. Because like when you pray, let God be God, and don't conclude your case and say, you know what, now I see myself with this man, but this man is going to be a pillow. And it was like, no, he's not a pillow, he's real. You have to imagine that your life is happened, but not as a pillow. So I just laughed when I listened to that. And it was like, yeah, that's what women do sometimes. And I think with the miracles and stuff, you just have to read the Bible if you are somebody who believes in God like me. Me, I believe in God. And even if miracles takes like a year or 2 years, I believe that it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's like, I don't know, when you pray, you have to have faith. You have to have action, like take action. So that's what I believe, that if I look at someone on social media, Carol Ann, that I admire them for, I actually use this as that person is my role model. Not like to say I want their life. I use them as my role model. Or sometimes I'll ask, how are you doing things differently? So can you help me? Actually, sometimes you may find somebody, they'll not gonna tell you how they're doing it, but they'll give you some advice. And the advice will always be you, do you. Never compare you with somebody else. That is always the advice, do you. Do you? What do you think, Carol? Actually, can you tell the audience before who you are and where they can find you? And also, anyone who is watching us on our social media, please go to our page at Nkosi Talk Shows. Nkosi Talk Shows, you have options of liking our page or giving us stars, and when you give us stars, we get to reach more people in our community. And please do so if you're watching us and on Facebook. And over to you, Carol Ann.
No, thank you. Yes, and so what I do is actually support women in becoming more productive with their writing. by connecting them with their deeper innate ability to write. But more importantly, they experience free-flowing writing. They experience an unlocking of the writer within. And all of that has come about through my own journey of unlocking the writer within. And the thing is, once they get their book written, you can then publish it, because you cannot publish what isn't written, you know? And so again, it's helping them to stop comparing their writing with others. It's helping to unlock that writer within so that they find their own way of writing it, their own words, and realize that their story is unique, it is worth telling, and they have something to share with the world that would make a difference, and they have their own way of writing it, their own way of doing it. And so that's what I help people find, the joy of writing again. I bring back play and playfulness back into the game of writing, because it is about being playful with it rather than being serious and then that, oh, I can't do this and that. And stop comparing yourself to someone like J.K. Rowling. Remember what she actually went through? She was at her bottom. She was at rock bottom when she then started writing, bringing together her, the Harry Potter books. And now look where she sprung out from. But what she went through to get where she is now. But you're not that. You're not J.K. Rowling. You are you. You have your stories to write. And you have your own way of writing them and your voice. And it's being able to empower you to have a full rounded voice that will capture other people's attention. So that's what I do. And I'm settling into it more. I'm enjoying it more because I've realized that actually I've had this guidance to do this. This was answer to a prayer. I love maths. I was a maths teacher. And now I'm helping people with their writing. Completely diverse. And it's been an amazing journey, and still is an amazing journey. And so it's about celebrating others. I love what you say, Nomsa. Celebrating other people. Celebrate their wins, because it becomes your win. There's a joy that happens by celebrating others. And so there's being grateful for what you have got. So you could just keep a gratitude diary or a gratitude journal, and but prioritize yourself first. You really need to prioritize your own self-care. And if you're struggling, seek help. We're here, reach out, ask for that support. And there'll be one of us that can support you with whatever it is you want to achieve, whatever it is you're working through. And because I realized that actually what I do is personal development through writing as well. I realized that my two worlds came together, personal development and writing. It's like, oh my goodness, the two have come together. And that's what I do, because you find yourself in finding your voice. You find that flow and those words. And what you were saying about do you, Nomsa, Dr. Seuss, absolutely amazing author, writer. And there's a quote from him that I just love. Today you are you, that is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. And you just know from the way I've said it, that is Dr. Seuss, because he's unique. He stood out in his writing and the way he writes and what he writes. So, yeah. And Eleanor Roosevelt says, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. So just remember that. You have a choice. And if you don't consent to feeling inferior, then just say no, thank you. I am unique. I am worthy of self-love. And I am a success in my own way, in my own right. And yeah, just enjoy life. Something else. Document your achievements. That's right. That's how you can then say, I'm a success. Look at all that I've achieved. Document your achievements, because that will help you to get over the comparisons as well, because you can then recognize how far you have come and that you are a success and you can achieve. And if you've achieved already, guess what? You can achieve some more.
Yeah, you can achieve more. You can be who you want to be, as long you are willing to actually do the work and not comparing yourself to somebody else. Like Carol Ann is saying, document your achievements, because when you document it, actually you put. I used to, when my dad died, my dad had this diary where he would write people's date of birth, he would write their names, who is who, and he would write whatever was going on. And when he died, I just went to that diary. It helped me a lot, because he had a sister and I didn't know that he had a sister. So I contacted her through that diary, and I got to go and meet my aunt because she's my blood and I know who I am. And I knew how much my family are proud of their own blood. And it helped me a lot, because I didn't compare myself to anyone else. And when Carol Ann says document your success and document your life, if you feel that there's things that are important, just document it. It's important for your children to actually go back and read, because it will give them that. Because when someone sees the picture, everything, but then when they go and read from the person who actually wrote it, how they succeeded, how they celebrated their success, it helps the kids to actually become who they want to become. My children, I put a note in their room that know who you are, your bloodline, be the changer in your bloodline. You cannot go and compare your life with anybody. You just have to do you. That's enough. Do you. And when you do you, celebrate you. And is something that you have to value yourself, and don't actually try to measure up to please other people. There are some people who will do anything to actually please the other people, and while they are hurting themselves. Just do you. There are some things that, like sometimes with friends, if I don't want to go out, I don't go out. I stay at home. Or if I want to spend time, we were talking the other day, my children, they are older now. My daughter, she's 7 years old, and she goes, everyone's thing says Santa doesn't exist. What do you think, Mom and Dad? And I was like, God. And his dad answers, she goes, but it's you who buys present, because I tell you my present and then you buy them. And their dad goes, we give them to Santa. She goes, no, you buy them. So I was like, okay. So never compare your life with anyone. You are unique, and people destroy their lives comparing their marriages to their friends. They see their friends putting pictures on social media, and they will start like nagging their husband, why can't we go on holiday? My friend put some pictures up when they've been on holiday with their spouse, and that is a torture. That is destroying your lives. Or if I'm single, I feel that because my friend is married, I feel that I have to find someone so I can live the similar life with my friends. If I'm single, I want to find love. Let me find love in my own joy, not because I'm comparing my life with my friends. And if I have a job, or if I want to start a business, let it be a joy. for me to make that choice and say, I'm going to start my business, or I'm going to apply for promotion, not because somebody else has got this, I got to have that. No, that destroys lives, and it takes your glory away. It steals, it's a thief of joy. It just steals your joy away. And for me, you know what, if Carol Anna wants something, I just deal with God. If there is something that I desire, that I want in life, I deal with God. My friends, I can ask them, guys, pray with me, pray for me. And that is good enough. Not to say, I want your life. No, I'm like, just pray for me. There's something that I'm going through, just pray for me. Because I know that if I ask God to bless me, if I'm looking for a man, when I prayed, I was single once, and I said, God, just, you know what messed up my life has been. I had to say out loud how my life messed up has been, meaning I've made the wrong choices, picking the wrong guys, neglecting myself. And all those lists, God knows where I've been. But I said to him, you know what? Just give me a man that is going to complement what I've been through, that is going to complement the path, the journey that I want to take with my life, meaning somebody who is going to accept me for who I am. And yes, I did find that person. And when I met this person, the shoes they were wearing, I didn't judge them. I was like, why are you wearing those shoes? Normally women judge men by shoes or by what the haircut or stuff. And he was like, they are really comfortable shoes, really, really comfortable. And then he explained himself. I could have easily said, you know what, I don't like his shirt, I don't like his shoes. But I had to ask because the shoes were very fascinating. And he was like, they're really, really comfortable. So I was like, okay. So I let him wear his shoes. And when we went on a third date or fourth date, he was like, what are you wearing? So I was like, I'm wearing this. When he came back, the shoes were gone. But I could have easily judged the person. That's when I realized, actually, when you are single, you can do whatever you want. But then when you let someone into your life, you try to accommodate that person, but it has to be a choice, not me saying, do this, do this. So any words of encouragement, Carol Ann, before we leave? I need to run into my daughter's school.
No, just really stop comparing yourself with other people. Compare yourself to yourself. And remember that insecurities are universal. Everybody is worrying about themselves.
Yeah.
And you can't see that.
Yeah.
So be yourself and remember what Dr. Seuss said. I'm going to say that again because I love that. Today you are you, that is truer than true. There is no one alive that is youer than you.
That's unique.
Yes.
Where your true authenticity caught. That's what I live with you. True authenticity caught, it means when I smile, I mean what I'm smiling, I mean it. I don't fake it. It means when I say I love me, I don't fake it. It means when I say I love Carol Ann, I love Carol Ann. It means when I don't feel okay, I don't lie to myself. I tell my friends that, you know what, I'm going to stay at home today because I don't feel okay. It means if I see that somebody else, they are succeeding and I'm not succeeding, it means I have the courage to say, teach me what you know, so I can be the person that I've meant to be, not so I can be like you, so I can be the person that I've meant to be. God created us to be unique. And no one can tell you that your dreams are too small or too big. If I didn't make you, I cannot tell you what you can and what you can't, because I'm not your creator, and you are enough for you, and I am enough for me. And if you are not enough, remember, if you feel you're not enough, you cannot get along with you. But if you feel enough, then you get along with you. Live with grace, everyone. We are here at Nkosi Talk Shows. Find your own voice and lead from within. If you want to connect with Carol Ann or with anyone at Nkosi Talk Shows, you can go to the website. Is there www.hseia and send me a message, or on my social media, send me a message. I always reply to everyone that gets in touch with me. Or you're looking for these guys who want to connect with the coaches, just connect and find your own voice and lead from within. And be the person that you are meant to be. Find your own voice and lead from within. God bless.